That didn't go so smoothly. Oh, oh, there it is again. Oh, that's gonna become a staple for me, isn't it? A VR to Mary-Grace. She made a wonderful video about that she considers herself a fortune teller and that she loves that word. And I kind of love the stereotype of a fortune teller. I am not a fortune teller. I don't consider myself one. I don't think that, no, I'm not. But I like the stereotype. It's very mysterious, but it's just not for me. And I'm okay with disagreeing on this point. Let me get this thing out of the way. I offer a year of 2020 spread on my Facebook shop, and yet I state that I don't do predictive readings myself. So the 2020 spread may be of predicting nature at first glance, but actually is very much in line with what I give to people in a reading anyway. Like, usually when I'm, for instance, in a shop, they pick 3 cards to start with. We see how far we get with the time that we have with 3 cards. And the last card often is a step in the right direction. So we are talking about the future then, aren't we? I'm just not approaching it as this will be so and so. I'm approaching it as use that energy as a step in the right direction. I always want to bring more to a reading, It's just like now with the devil as an example, I considered this a life lesson, a sign, a powerful sign that you may very well be sabotaging yourself. And it's like putting a mirror in front of you, like that, putting a mirror in front of their face and say, look at what you're doing. You're not happy? Change. Are you happy? Good. Now grow. Just showing them their potential. And you can probably hear that I'm very passionate about this subject. Mary-Grace, I liked your video, and you are so likable and explain it so well, and I like that you addressed this judgy thing that's been coming up in the past few years, like you mentioned. And I must confess, I can't help but sometimes be a little snotty towards readers who focus on predicting the future. And you did make me think, so thank you for that. What I do when people come to me with a predictive question, I shamelessly change it up to what I think will actually help them. And I actually see right off the bat when a client isn't for me, when they are very set on having their fortunes told, or their future. And that's the point where I explain I don't do predictive readings. And we do, we just settle things. We quickly come to a conclusion to say, okay, well, I am not your reader and you are not my client. And I reference them to one of my colleagues. Cheers to attracting the right clients for you. I also think it has to do with the way I can actually help them. As a reader, you approach the cards in a certain way. Your approach to the cards is very important and dictates the way that you give advice. So the words out of your mouth, So how do you help them, and what suits you as a reader as well? If you're uncomfortable with the advice you're giving to someone, if you don't actually believe it, then, or you're biting your tongue to not say what you actually want to tell them, then you have to figure some things out. It's just and it's very much about what reader you have in front of you, who that person is, and what type of reading you will get. It's as simple as that. It's very personal. It's not all tarot readers do the same thing. Please don't believe that, Oh shit, that was judgy, wasn't it? I'm sorry. It's a hard subject, but that's why I like it. It's a very good subject matter. Okay, about the past. When we read the past, we actually look at how we can understand now what happened then and how to deal with it now. So that totally fits into my way of reading the cards. There's also a little sliver of future that I accept. It's the change that you can look forward to if you do the work. And the chance of your wish coming true if you do the work. You see where I'm getting at, right? But all of that is always set up in a way that isn't predictive reading for me. I'm talking about me. So I hope you know what I mean by that, because, for instance, I had that like 2 weeks ago. If you look at the Four of Wands, come on, yeah, Four of Wands, okay. If you see that in a position that shows the right direction for you, or something like that, the Querent's wish was to find love and probably to get married. Well, I know, even though I don't read the cards that way, and I tell the client that, the Four of Wands can be seen as a marriage card or a wedding card, a milestone in your life, and which is really cool. In Dutch we say mijlpaal, and that literally means mile pole. So we don't have a milestone in Holland, we have mijlpool. And that is so hard to say. Might be the beer too, I don't know. So anyway, it can be seen as a marriage card, right? So if the reading is about that, I will tell them this is seen by many readers across the globe as a marriage card, a wedding card. So that's a fun little quirk, and you could even say a boost for that person, right? Saying you'll get there. And maybe they just need someone to believe in them. Better that they walk away feeling the universe supports them than only talking about what they can do to get what they desire. And, you know, it's also often what they should stop doing. But you see, it's all under the same umbrella of I'm helping that person. If someone needs a little bit more confidence, it will show in the cards, right? But I like to combine a little tough love with a little gentle nudge in the right direction. So this was could have been a milestone for me too, that reading. Because, no, I had done that before. Yeah. Like with the Five of Cups, you know, I can say it is considered a mourning card, a grief card. Mourning. And, for instance, the Nine of Cups is considered the wish card. So I like to include those little things. I think that's okay. And it can really help the client to understand what you're saying, right? The last thing that I would want to do, though, is to make them believe it will for sure happen for them and they don't need to do anything for it. They don't need to change anything for it. It doesn't often happen that a positive change occurs in your life if you yourself haven't changed anything, I think. The people who are truly open trust us, and it's important to them, and it's important to me too. And Mary-Grace, I just want to say, I think we disagree on certain points in a very friendly way. I mean, that's what I think, at least. It's good to have a discussion started, right? And like I said, you already brought up some points where I'm like, okay, yeah, makes sense. But I think that we both have that very grounded energy of giving ethical readings. And by that I mean, I don't think you would tell someone they don't need to put a little work in order to manifest their wants. You know, in the way that you phrased your words in your video, I don't think that that's what's happening. And yeah, maybe I am a little prejudiced in thinking that that's how many predictive readings work, but like you said, you're talking about um, many possible outcomes, right? I just have a feeling with you that you are guiding them as well. You know what I mean? When I hear people say, tarot cards are bullshit, it hurts. It does hurt. It stings a little bit because I know that my approach is far from bullshit. And I think it's just important that we think of why we do readings the way that we do them. If we can't explain well where this phenomenon comes from, my idea, I just have this word in my mind, just just be legit is what I'm trying to say. Believe in yourself, believe in what you're saying, sure, but mostly be legit. With all of that prejudice around what a tarot reader actually does, right? And how different it is from reader to reader, I think it's important to have readers who come out and say, I don't do predictive readings. Because the fortune teller thing, whether you like it or not, own it or not, is a stereotype. And it's why people say, again, people who don't know, they say tarot is bullshit. And not every card reader is that stereotype, but it's good that people know that tarot or cards are used not only to read the future, so that there is a way for them to find truth in that, and importance in that, and value in that. It's all about the values, the core values that you have inside yourself. Yeah, if reading the future is too woo-woo for some people, then at least they will open their minds and benefit from a tarot reading that is about the present and looking inwards to what you can personally change within yourself. And when I talk about this, I have to admit, I truly believe that that is healthier for a person. It's because it's helped me so much. And I want to share it. I want to share it. Before I started reading for clients, I made sure that I had my rules set and my values very clear. So an aspect of one of my values is that I personally don't see very much help in predicting the future for someone. I don't see those statements as helpful as empowering someone to do something about their situation now. Mary-Grace, again, you are so nice, and I really, really liked your video that this is a VR too. And I understand that coming from that background, you know, reading for all of those years. Some things nowadays seem kind of judgy, because they are, in many ways. But yeah, I must admit, I don't see it the same way. Although I do too enjoy the fortune teller type of wise, mysterious, mystical woman, but she's just not what I do. She's in the books that I enjoy, the movies that I like, or in the way that I wear my many rings and wear my long dark hair. I hope I made a little sense without offending anyone. That's the last thing that I want to do in a video like this. It's just that I really like discussions like these, topics like these, because they're about who we are. It really shows who we are, what we believe in, where we find importance, what is important to us, and how we share that with the people that come to us. And I really like the idea of the tarot community being a community, even if we fundamentally disagree on these fundamental things, really. I hope that's possible, because I kind of like what we're doing here, I must say. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed and continue the discussion.